My name's Nick Goldschmidt. I'm a winemaker in the Alexander Valley and in the Napa, and I have vineyards in both regions, and I just want to talk a little bit about why I choose particular areas or what areas are interesting for me. I make Goldschmidt, which is a single vineyard wine from the Alexander Valley, and I also make Goldschmidt, which is a single vineyard wine from Oakville. I also make Forefathers Cabernet, Catherine Cabernet, and Chelsea Merlot from the Alexander Valley, and all those wines are under the Goldschmidt portfolio. But if you were to look at Alexander Valley, and then we cross over into the Napa Valley, and we have a series of rivers. Obviously this was the Napa Creek, this is the Myakama Creek, and this is the Russian River. And for those who don't know, the Russian River also formed the Napa Valley. But at some point way back when, Mount St. Helena was lifted up, and there was another earthquake, and a big mudslide came off Mount St. Helena, and that's what blocked the Russian River off from the Napa Valley. At that same time, of course, Cabernets was lifted out of the ocean, because remember, Cabernets was actually in San Francisco Bay. But anyway, that's a story for another time. The sun comes in this direction, obviously heading towards the west, coming from the east. This is the Napa, and this is the Alexander Valley. The problem in the Alexander Valley is that these slopes here, which we really like, which are the east-facing slopes, the morning sun. I really like morning sun because, again, I can get more hang time. If I'm a west-facing slope, I get all the afternoon heat and it pushes the sugars along too fast in relation to the flavor and the tannin. These vineyards on the east in the Alexander Valley are too steep, so everyone plants facing west. And as I said, west-facing slopes are warmer. So in the Alexander Valley, typically Cabernet tends to be more jammy, red fruit, fruit forward, and perhaps more elegant than what you would get in the Napa Valley. For Forefathers and the Goldschmidt vineyard in the Alexander Valley, however, we have a little vineyard that is on top of one of these little knolls. And there are 4 of these little knolls in the Alexander Valley. This one is just to the east of Geyserville. And I'm very lucky that I've got the 3rd one in the Alexander Valley. There's only one more further south. So Forefathers comes from the top of this knoll and then down towards the east. And that allows us to make wines with very long hang time and for more flavor development. Other vineyards in the area would be Foret Corona, which is right here. Out front on the flat would be Jordan and Silver Oak, and over on this slope would be Simi. And so dramatically different wines to what I'm producing. In fact, on the same knoll facing south, which is also a relatively warm area, this is where Milestone from Clos de Bois comes from. But the Forefathers Cabernet comes from the east. The Goldschmidt is a very interesting vineyard. It actually is a north-facing slope. There's a little terrace as we head back down that knoll. Looking north, it's a very cool site, is where I get this very small production of Goldschmidt. I only make about 500 cases of that in any particular year. Meanwhile, over in the Napa Valley, what I'm looking for is where my vineyard is I actually have a vineyard that's at the base of this bench, and I'm looking for something with a little bit more vigor and something that I can push the maturity again a little bit further. What I want is, I want to have, in the Alexander Valley, I want to make a wine that's got more power and intensity, but in the Napa Valley, I want to make something that's a little bit more elegant and round and supple. So I sort of want to make an Alexander Valley wine in the Napa and a Napa Valley wine in the Alexander Valley. I hope that makes sense. And if you get those 2 wines and put them side by side, I think you'll appreciate the significant differences between the 2 valleys. I make the wines exactly the same. They stay on skins exactly the same time. They go into the same sort of barrel. They're bottled on the same day. So the only thing that you're tasting is the difference between the 2 vineyards. So that is what is the difference between the Alexander Valley and the Napa. And I hope you find that interesting in the Goldschmidt wines.